take us through Ethiopia and Abyssinia and back to Ethiopia?
Yeah, sometimes when the historians are talking about Ethiopia, sometimes they mean one country in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which country? On a modern map, it wouldn't actually be modern Ethiopia. It would be closer to modern Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
But when people talk about Ethiopia and its role as the originator of civilization, what they mean by that on a modern map would be where Sudan is today.
Mm-hmm.
And that area was the site where you had the very first kingdom in the world, the kingdom of Ta-Seti. Ta-Seti, Ta is land, Seti is south. Some people say Seti also means bow, as in bow and arrow. So Ta-Seti, the land of the bow and arrow. And that is your first kingdom on earth. Archaeologists have found a dynasty of 12 rulers of Ta-Seti who ruled before Egypt's first pharaoh, or to be exact, 11 of them ruled before Egypt's first pharaoh. And the last one was contemporaneous with Egypt's first pharaoh, right? So that's one use. Then we've got Ethiopia, meaning, as you say.
Just take a pin as you explain. How does that relate to Kush and to Nubia?
Okay, Kush is the same area, but later on.
Later, okay, good.
So by the time we get to around Egypt's 6th dynasty, which is the end of the Old Kingdom period, right? A new polity, if you like, emerges in the Sudan region, and that polity is now being called Kush. And its capital city, the archaeologists have been excavating it for the last 10, 15, 20 years. The capital city was called Kerma. And this was the famous nation state, then empire state of Kush. And then it has its golden age, contemporaneous with Egypt's 6th dynasty, all the way up to Egypt's 18th dynasty. So when Egypt was doing its 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all the way up to 18, this was the golden age of Kush. Mm-hmm. Then Egypt collapses, and it collapses round about the end of the 20th dynasty, 20th, 21st, 22nd, that type of period. Then Kush was back. And these are the Kushite pharaohs that everybody knows: Taharqa, Shabaka, Tanwetanami, all of those type of people, yeah? But that's late. And that's, again, the region is again being called Kush. Now, in European records, such as the records of the Greeks, they always call this same place, they called it Ethiopia, right? Now, the country that we call Ethiopia today, much further south and further east in the Horn of Africa, it's connected to Kush. I've since seen some archaeological evidence that says that the Kushites had a presence there. Mm-hmm. But the first kingdom to emerge was a kingdom called Damot. Then there was another kingdom that emerged called Aksum. Mm. And then by the time we get into the Middle Ages, this kingdom is being called Abyssinia. Mm-hmm. But again, in some of the European records, they're also calling it Ethiopia as well. Do you see? Yeah. And of course, in the 20th century, they reclaimed the name Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what then happened is because of Ethiopia's role in standing up to the Italians and not being beaten at Adwa, that raised Ethiopia's status very, very high. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And kings like Menelik II, he was looked up to as, you know, that's the kind of African ruler we want to see. That type of mentality happened. And then, of course, the next period where Ethiopia is being bigged up was with the birth of Rastafari. Mm-hmm. And I think Rastafari starts in 1930 with 4 Jamaican priests. And your father is alleged to have said something to the effect of, look to the east, where a king shall be crowned, he will be the redeemer. I don't know if that was ever said, but that's legend says your dad said that. So people were looking to the east, and then a black king was indeed crowned, and he was indeed a tribe of Judah and conquering lion and all this kind of stuff. So, and on his vestiture and on his name, on his thigh, a name, King of Kings, etc., etc. So everyone then thought, oh, that's the prophecy, and then that created Rastafari. And then with it, Ethiopia, the modern country called Ethiopia, its status has then been again raised in the African consciousness. And then, of course, the fact being that after World War II, Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, stepped very, very correct.